Okay, Aries, we're gonna start with you because we always do. Your ruling planet right now is in your sign, in your first house, specifically if you are an Aries rising. So you may have a lot of things going on. This week, I'm using the Oracle of the Radiant Sun deck in honor of Leo, and of you, I guess so too, right? The sun is in Leo, as we just said, and that trines your energy. So you got a lot of good things going on, some things that are going on in the workflow. You're feeling like you're very creative and like you are getting your boss game on maybe, or maybe you're just feeling like you have the assertion that you need right now, for sure. There's nothing in Sagittarius, but in Vedic astrology, we would have a lot of planets there. But you still have some trining energy going on with Leo and Aries happening here with your first and fifth house. So let's go ahead and do, so it's saying take a risk, right? You could be feeling a little bit reluctant, right? Or you might even just be feeling like restricted in some kind of way. It's almost like what you fear might even also be preventing you from taking a risk, right? Or you might be taking this risk even though you know that there could be some consequences or there could be some rewards. Maybe the consequences aren't dire and that's why you're willing to take the risk, and maybe you just aren't really thinking about that because you're in Aries, and this is Saturn in Aries, which is like Saturn in the first house. So it makes you feel restricted as well in some kind of way. But you know what? It's kind of like no risk, no reward. And Saturn wants you to work. Saturn wants you to assert yourself, and Saturn wants you to take risks when the opportunity gives it, right? Because Mars, your ruling planet, is actually exalted in Capricorn. So it's kind of like when Saturn hits Aries right away, it's almost like you're facing challenges early on, right? And maybe if you're taking the risk, you're gonna face some challenges early on, and you kind of like know that, and that might be making you feel a little bit afraid of whatever it is that you're taking on, or whatever it is that you're venturing out to do. Saturn does have to do with endings, and it has to do with completion and success and endurance and all of that. So maybe you don't have all of the skills, or maybe you're working with less than what you need, or something like that, right? Because Aries is the first sign. Saturn doesn't really come around until like the 10th house. Okay, so that's old energy, right? So you could be dealing with like you know, needing to leave some things behind, or maybe you feel like you're going into territory that like is not like yours, right? Or maybe it's just something that's making you uncomfortable. You're being challenged, okay, to take a risk. And I'll just show you the card. Okay, so this risk could actually unlock something for you that could be very fruitful. So let me go ahead and finish shuffling these cards. I think I'm gonna do it one more time. It's saying be optimistic about whatever it is that you are being challenged by, you know, and be optimistic about the risk that you're taking. And we just had a full moon in your 11th house, which is Aquarius, which is talking about being a rebel and taking risks, being eccentric, thinking outside of the box. That's what you need. Okay, let's do a 3-stack here. We're gonna do a top-bottom spread, up, down, I don't know what I wanna call it, okay? 3 for 3. Publicity, so Jupiter in Leo, that is a great placement. As we know, that's like the 6 of Wands in the tarot, but Jupiter is talking about growth and expansion and taking risks, right? So it's kind of like maybe you don't want to take a risk on being seen, or you don't want to take a risk on being exposed, or you don't want something to be exposed. Whatever this is saying open up your creative lane, or, you know, widen that creative lane, like create some more lanes, you know what I mean? And it's like go to places that you've never been before because it's exciting, that type of thing. It might have to do with travel, or it might just have to do with exploring your creativity further with this publicity, right? Okay, publicity is talking about the public as well, you know, and Jupiter likes to be seen and Leo likes to be seen. So it's saying go with it, allow something to be seen, allow something to even be like understood and heard, right? If you don't show it to people, then they'll never see it, right? That type of thing. So it does have to do with taking risk. Going back to the card that fell out for you earlier, which is right here. I'm trying not to burn my hand or the card because I have a candle there lighting the front of me. Okay, so let's look at the other side, discovery. So it has to do with travel, and it also just has to do with going the distance, going the extra mile, you know what I mean? When people first went out on boats or on rafts or on whatever makeshift rickshaw thing they did, they set out to do, maybe it was a really great quality marine navigating vessel, but you know, they didn't know what was on the other side, but they knew that if they found something, that it would be great. Maybe they'd have to turn back around. But it's like, if you don't ever try to go for it, then you'll never really know what it is that's possible, you know, or what is on the other side, right? So we want to look at that. Mercury in Sagittarius. You know, it's like, don't hold yourself back. Don't restrict yourself, right? It's kind of like, go and see what might be different that could be fun or could be a new experience for you, right? And I'm getting like, be a little bit youthful about it. Be kind of like not flirting with danger, but flirt with excitement a little bit, right? Stop being so, you know, Saturnian here with this Saturn and Aries, right? Saying discovery, publicity, right? It's Mercury in Sagittarius, and then there's Jupiter in Leo. None of those want to be restricted. Okay. Generosity, Saturn in Leo. Okay, so this is, you know, Saturn in Leo is debilitated, and it does talk about, you know, sometimes we have to be generous in ways that don't require us giving something to someone, but it has to do with the level of consideration. So we can be generous with our consideration. We can be generous with our admiration. We could take ideas from places that we didn't think that we wanted them, that type of thing. You know, Saturn is kind of like, there's no time for me to really try to see what it is that you think is cool, or what it is that you think you want to do, or, you know, I feel like it has to be more of a cooperative, right, venture, whatever that means. And Gene, right, Gene, ingenious, ingenuity. Gene almost makes me feel of like children or offspring or something like that. You know, make something a learning experience, but also make it fun for yourself or for other people that are involved. This could also be like the generosity of like someone's family, right? In some kind of way for some of you. Wow. Let me flip this over to the back to see what's going on. Originality, right? Original ideas. This is Mercury in Aquarius where it's exalted, okay? We just had that full moon in Aquarius. I told you, eccentricity. Think outside the box. Jupiter in Virgo. Be patient, you know, because it's almost kind of like you want something to be a certain way. But then it's like you definitely going to be restricted because there's going to be certain like diagnostics that are considered, I guess. I don't know. Because you're going to start weighing and measuring things, and you're going to be being very critical, right? And if it's too much of that, you just need to calm it down a little bit, right? Stop trying to pick apart everything. Let something come together before you start to be too knick-knack paddywhack about it, right? Okay, something is actually cooler than you thought it could be. You just never really wanted to give it entertain the thought, the idea, or give it the time in some kind of way. Right, birth, let it happen, honey. Let this thing be born. Venus in Cancer, which Venus actually just went into Cancer, and that's your 4th house of home and family, but then it also has to do with end of life and endings and things like that. Venus in Cancer talks about reflecting on an experience that allows you to sort of like be reborn, right? Birth, originality, right? Come on, let it happen. Let something new take place. Let something new breathe, right? Take your first breath of something. Bye, Aries.